right, we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are going to start actually with a continuation of the public hearing for the zoning revisions. It is a continuation, so I don't need a motion to open it because it's already open. What I would like, however, is to see if Victoria is, yes, there is Victoria, or Victoria Palladino, who's Polidoro, sorry, who is our legal counsel as it relates to zoning. From the last meeting, we have received comments from the Dutchess County Planning Department, and we had further meetings, and we have made some revisions to the proposed zoning law, and Victoria is going to take us through that right now.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to share my screen if I have permission and walk everyone through these changes. Oh, I don't know who the host is, but could you allow me to share?
She's working on it.
You should be good.
Thank you.
Can you do it now?
Yes, I can. Oh, I lost my document though. Let's try again.
Thank you, by the way, to everyone for your indulgence in our hybrid meeting. We've actually just shifted to Zoom. So this is the Village of Red Hook's first Zoom meeting. And we have our truly wonderful high school intern, Cassie Coleman, who is behind the Village Hall photo, making sure that this all works. Ah, there she is. And Victoria, are you still finding the document?
I got it. Okay. Can you see that?
There we go. Yes.
So
yes,
we received comments from Dutchess County Planning last month. They had a lot of comments on the proposal, but overall, I think they were supportive of the proposed zoning changes. They did catch some good things. So one of the first changes that was made to this version of the law was that instead of referencing the map from August 2021, we're adding a notation that the map date is going to change. And so we'll have a map with a date, the same date as adoption of the local law to avoid confusion down the road when we have a map with one date and a law with another date. The next change was to the definition of apartment. They identified the issue here, which would have allowed in the definition, it says housekeeping facilities for one or more families, and it should have been family because it's a single housekeeping unit per apartment. So that was corrected. And then we've now changed the code. You used to allow 3 family dwellings and then multifamily dwellings, but we've changed dwelling multifamily to now be 3 or more. And so we don't need to include something in the definition about a 1-family dwelling with an accessory dwelling because that's never going to be considered a multifamily dwelling anyway. So these are just cleaning up some of the definitions. I think, we went through this last time, but we were replacing the multifamily uses in R10 and R20,000 with 2-family uses as being more appropriate for the district, especially given the small lot size and the lack of central sewer for most of those lots. The next big set of comments from the county was regarding the Gateway Business District. And the county reviewer had an issue with how similar this district was with the general business district, which is located nearby. And we had a discussion about this, the working group, which was the deputy mayor, and myself. And really the difference here, it's a spatial difference. The gateway business has larger setbacks and less developable area per lot. And so it provides more of a visual transition as you come from the more rural parts of Red Hook into the village. You will have this gateway district, which allows development, but it is not the entire lot. You're not going to have, buildings lined up right next to each other with no spaces in between. And then it heads into the general business district, which does allow that zero lot line type development that the traditional village center has. So we added some language here just to explain those differences, that lot coverage is significantly less. And that coupled with the requirement for side yard setback, it creates a visual distinction between the two districts. The county also recommended that we add commercial greenhouses and plant nurseries back in. So we did. The county had some other comments, and I'm not sure if everyone on the board had a chance to read them, but the county was suggesting that we should have more of a difference between retail and service uses that are allowed in the GB and that are allowed here. And we talked about that, but eliminating retail and service uses would almost certainly eliminate the ability to have new construction with apartments on top. Someone's going to build a retail building. This district will now allow apartments on the second and third floor. But if you don't allow that first floor use, it's going to limit the desirability to develop in this neighborhood. We also talked about, the county also talked about amending the uses in the GB district. If you go to the general business district as it's drafted now, the uses are very specific. So for instance, I don't have it open, but it says something like furniture store or shoe repair shop versus a more modern way of looking at it, which is retail and service. Because, uses and businesses are changing so quickly now that we can't anticipate what the next type of retail business or service business is going to be. So the choice here was to go with something broader to allow more flexibility in the types of businesses, to try and encourage more businesses to open in Red Hook. So rather than limit to furniture, TVs, appliances, you could sell all three if you want, and we don't need to worry about how that's going to be interpreted. One question that the county had was, what does repair and machine shop mean? It's a use that exists now in this area that's subject to the district. You don't currently have a definition. We don't have one now. We can leave it as is. We can take it out, or we can try and provide a definition. Just using common language, I see this as a shop that repairs, like something like Conway's, where you can get your lawnmower fixed. You can get a part made, but without a definition, it's subject to interpretation. The next change was reducing the maximum height in this district to 45 feet instead of 50, but still limiting it to 3 stories. And that was per county planning's comments. In the neighborhood mixed use district, just adding the word dwelling before units to be consistent. And then again, identifying that while in the GB and GW districts, there's no limit on the number of apartments you can have as long as they fit within the confines of the zoning law. In the NMU district, you're limited to 6 apartments per building. Here, the number of apartments was increased to 5, where the affordable housing requirement kicks in, because the 20% of 5 is 1, and anything below that, you're not going to get a whole unit anyways. So the county recommended increasing that number to 5.
needing larger apartments. Right?
It says in buildings with more than 5 apartments, at least 20% of apartments will have 2 or more bedrooms. Yes, so it means, right, we're going to
I thought I
have,
heard you say affordable housing.
I'm sorry, I said affordable housing, but this is the, we don't have a requirement for affordable housing, I misspoke. This is the requirement to get a mix of housing. So we don't just want a building to have all studio apartments or all single family apartments. We're trying to provide for different types of families and people that are looking for rentals. And so the requirement here is that if you're going to build more than 5, you have to provide some kind of mix. There's still room for flexibility, but at least, you know, you're not going to get 5 studio apartments. And those are the changes. So I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have about them.
Is there anyone here in person to make comments to the public hearing? Seeing none, is there anyone on the screen who would like to make comments for the public hearing? Feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, seeing none. Does anyone on the board have a question or a comment to make?
So Victoria, we have to amend the map by just changing the date on that.
No, the date was changed already. So your most recent map is dated October 15th. But if you adopt the local law, we are going to have the final map amended to say adopted on, and then include the date of adoption.
Something we can do after we adopt the amendments then?
Yeah, we don't want to do it now because we don't know the final vote and the date of the final vote.
Okay, thank you.
And because these changes were, you know, laid on your virtual desks today, we're going to recommend that the hearing be continued for at least 2 weeks to allow any member of the public that's interested to look and comment on these changes. At which point you can close the hearing.
Got it. Charlie, any questions or comments?
No, that seems pretty straightforward to me. I don't think any of the county's edits or suggestions were particularly problematic.
Melcorca, any comments, questions?
No.
We didn't go over any of the we skipped some of the comments that we didn't incorporate into the local law. And so I might just take a minute and talk to you about those. So accessory dwellings, the county couldn't understand the rationale for requiring different levels of review for an accessory dwelling unit that's within an existing structure. So you convert, you know, your 4th bedroom into a suite versus an accessory dwelling unit that's going to be in a detached structure elsewhere in your yard. And we recommended that you keep that distinction because for neighbors, it is different when there's life and people living in different parts of the yard, especially when it's closer to other dwelling units versus something on the interior of the house where there's already activity. The village also, the county also asked to include a requirement for tree-lined sidewalks for pedestrians. When there's site plan review, there's already a section on landscape requirements, so we didn't duplicate that language. And other than that, we did make most of the county's comments. Thank you.
Now, do we need to make a motion to approve the amendments as presented and continue the public hearing?
Yes, you should make a motion. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
It wouldn't be to approve it, to accept the revised local law and hold the continued public hearing on such date on this new version.
And I'm going to make that motion, and I'm going to propose that we extend the public hearing to our next meeting, which is February 14th, unless anyone feels the need to do it a special meeting sooner. It didn't feel like we needed to do that. So I'm going to make a motion that we accept the changes as amended and to extend the public hearing to February 14th. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Brunt, seconding. All in favor? Oh, sorry, before I do that, any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay,
All
thanks,
right, so
everyone.
that's done. I'm going to go a little out of order. We have someone here who would like to make public comment, and rather than make you wait until the very end of the meeting, because we have a lot to cover. Charlie, if you'd like to come and this would be Charlie Rubin, not Charlie Lang. If you just come up to this microphone so that folks in the Ethernet here can hear you.
Okay, my camera.
No, but you will be.
You don't have to.
And you just need to get close enough to hear.
Okay,
There you go.
how about now?
Yes. Yep.
All right. I'm Charles Rubin. I live right in the village, and I want to thank you for all your efforts on behalf of trying to get the working with our old noise ordinance. So this is a comment about that noise ordinance. I did write a one-page letter to the board, and I made copies of it with some supporting information. I just thought I'd give that to each member.
You can give a copy to Laura, who will give it to Charlie. The other Charlie.
Here's, so there's 3 more, 1 for the clerk and 2 for the other members. So I just wanted to read it into the record. It's pretty, just 1 page, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Dear Mayor Smythe, can you hear me through the mask okay? Dear Mayor Smythe and village board members, as you know, our local noise ordinance was recently ruled unconstitutional by Judge Triebwasser. As a result, our local police are now unable to enforce any restrictions at all on noise complaints in the village of Redwood. At the current time, there are ongoing noise disturbances which affect my local neighborhood within the village. And so I ask that the board please write a new ordinance as soon as possible so that enforcement actions can succeed. Pursuant to that, I have done research into model noise ordinances and would like to present the following argument for your consideration. I hope that this might be helpful to you as you consider your options. While there are many aspects to consider in drafting a noise ordinance, such as specific types of noise to regulate, leaf blowers come to mind, one key aspect is the underlying standard to be applied. From my readings, it appears that there are 3 common standards. First are subjective standards, such as, quote, annoyance or inconvenience, which was what we had in our 1939 ordinance. These are now often ruled to be unconstitutionally vague. The second are specific decibel levels at specific times of day. While these sound good in theory, in practice, they are difficult to enforce, as they require trained personnel with calibrated sound meters. And furthermore, they do not easily encompass sounds which may be within the decibel range, yet still very disturbing to neighboring parties. The third standard in common use is the language plainly audible, as measured either across a property line, across an apartment boundary, or within a specified distance. This type of standard is much easier to enforce, easier for all parties to measure unaided, and much more flexible and useful in terms of preventing unwanted noises in a densely populated area. I strongly encourage the board to use this language in its new noise ordinance rather than specific decibel levels, and I have attached a scholarly analysis which I believe may help convince you to this end. Unwanted noise is increasingly understood to be a very real cause of stress, hypertension, anxiety, and hostile behavior, and I believe the village board needs to address this issue sooner rather than later. If I can be of any assistance in drafting the specifics of a new ordinance, I would be happy to help. Thank you for your time and consideration. Yours truly, Charles Rubin. One final note. I'm sure Brent remembers I actually came before this body 5 years ago and made a carefully done presentation about our noise ordinance at the time, comparing it to those of municipalities near to us. pointing out that it was 80 years old and had a lot of problems. Nothing was done at that time, and nothing was done in the 5 years since. So giving it a second try. And also, I'd be curious to know if you can provide any information as to the village's plans in terms of a timeline for recreating a noise ordinance, or whether there's like a committee or something that's working on.
As we work on it, I'll certainly let you know. Don't have a specific answer for you at this time.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Charlie. Anybody else would like to make public comment while we're at it? All right, there, we're adjusted now. Okay, now we're going to move on then to approving the minutes from December 6th village board meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a couple of seconds. That's good. Any questions? Discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. That's done. Thank you. And now would be the time for the treasurer's report.
The Treasury's report for January the 10th, 2022. As of the end of December, the account balances were as follows. General fund, $580,987.25. Water fund, $144,906.26. Trust and agency, $25,104.92. Petty cash, $14.79. Village green, $4,773.92. Hard scrabble, $2,646.55. Health insurance, $4,088.13. And the sewer fund, $10,978.71. The reserve checking balances are as follows. Fire department, $5,033.56. Police, $14,585.79. USDA, $134,039.11. Highway, $30,583.45. Snow reserve, $3,279.58. Tower reserve, $17,711.87. Unemployment, $4,544.25. Court reserve, $3,298.68. And the office reserve, $972.55. The monthly expenses for the month of December in the general fund, $217,282.43. The water fund, $17,763.93. Trust and agency, $1,354.60. And sewer, $1,218.15. That concludes the treasurer's report.
Great, thank you, Ray. Do we need to accept the treasure? Yes, okay, I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
A second? A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Charlie. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ray. All right, we've readjusted, and now it is my turn. I do actually just want to comment, for those of you who have been paying attention, it's hard not to. The COVID numbers have been going up. They are elevated. The village of Red Hook remains less than or equal to 5 cases, has all along. The town of Red Hook has certainly been going up. I think as of today's numbers that are based on 2 days ago, I think we're at 119 cases. But there is, and so it is, thank you for everyone wearing a mask. We have distanced ourselves here in Village Hall, and we are doing hybrid meetings so that those who prefer to stay at home can zoom in from elsewhere. The county has just put out some visual information that helps to clarify what to do when you are, if you are exposed, if you're vaccinated and boosted, or if you're not vaccinated or not yet boosted, and versus if you've tested positive. I'm not sure if I can make, this is roughly what it looks like. We'll put it on the website, but the county has done a nice job of helping to follow, okay, what does quarantine mean? What does isolate mean? What do I do if I've been exposed? And what do I do if I've tested positive? There will be, they also have a list of information related to the Omicron variant, which probably the most important thing, which is the most obvious, is it is highly contagious. And there are those who say, if you haven't gotten it yet, you will. But there will be, we have done 2 distributions of home test kits, and those are kits that have come from the state, given to the county, who's then given it out to the municipalities. I want to thank Greg Stalarik, our deputy clerk in particular, for handling and managing the giving out of those test kits here in the village, and also the library, which has helped us give out test kits in the evening for those who aren't able to make a daytime time. We have also provided some to Red Hook Commons to make sure that we're reaching that population. And this last round, we also gave a couple to the community center, again, to make sure that we're reaching populations that may not be able to either get our communications or get to Village Hall or the library in time. And there will be more distributions, so feel free to sign up for the newsletter. That's one way we have your email, or sign up for alerts on the website, and we will continue to put the information out there. We will not be getting any this week. It might be next week, so we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to acknowledge the situation that we are in. If the Omicron variant follows the way it is followed in other countries, we should have a few more weeks of going up, and then it'll start going down. So I'm certainly hoping that that is the case. And if cold has anything to do with it, that will certainly nip it in the bud, because it's supposed to be cold for the next week. We also will be, tomorrow during the day, we will open up the courthouse for a warming station. It is supposed to be in single digits overnight, and I'm not sure it's supposed to get much higher than 14 degrees tomorrow. So we'll put a sign out front. People can come in wearing a mask just to sit here in the courthouse just to warm up if they need to, because it is going to be cold. All right, and then my other reports are relating to the police report for the month of December. This is testing my math abilities. 283 incidents. Total wasn't put on my sheet, that's all. No, it's probably 293, sorry. I failed the math test. 214 in the village of Red Hook, 76 in the town of Red Hook, and 3 in the village of Tivoli. And just to be clear, as it relates to Tivoli, we would not be the lead in Tivoli. We would be backing up, being backup in a situation where backup was not available. In terms of uniform traffic tickets, there were a total of 76, 41 in the village of Red Hook, which includes 0 parking tickets, and 35 in the town of Red Hook. And arrests, there were 2, 1 in the village of Red Hook and 1 in the town of Red Hook. Personnel, we're going to get to that a little under regular business. But I am recommending the hiring of a part-time village clerk this evening, and I'm happy to welcome Jen Kavanaugh, who is my selection. guess is the right word. But we'll talk more about Jen in a little bit. And that is all I have to report. And now we have our current village clerk, Lara Hart, who's going to speak about the building department.
So the building department report for December, 9 building permits issued, 0 certificates of occupancy, 5 certificates of compliance, 3 municipal searches, 4 fire inspections. Planning board actions, December 9th, 2021 meeting, special permit site plan application for 3 St. John Street, tabled to January 13th, 2022. There was no zoning board of appeals meeting due to no agenda.
Great, thank you. And now we have Deputy Mayor College.
Thank you. I'll start with the Village Green Committee's monthly report for December. The current balances of the Village Green Committee's related budget accounts are as follows. Community beautification, $2,454.21. Shade tree contractual, $2,500. And the Village Green checking account is $4,773.93 as per Ray's report.
Frank, can you give me the beautification amount again?
$2,454.21.
Thank
And the checking account is $4,773.93. 92. It's been a long day. Thank you, Ray. The Village Green Committee had a meeting on December 2nd in the Village Building. All officers were in attendance, and we did a recap of the 2021 annual fall planting day, which was held on November 6th. 16 volunteers planted 12 trees throughout the village. Costs for shipping of trees from Shipbill's nursery for the annual fall planting will be shared by the Redwood Town Tree Commission. Tree costs ordered by the town will be reimbursed to the village. And David Pearson discussed New York Dig Safely's new online request for locating underground utilities prior to digging planting sites. We also discussed concerns of a resident who received trees from the Village Green Committee during the past planting day. Relocation or removal of a tree on this property will be conducted in the spring of 2022. Our committee will also purchase additional tree trunk protectors and village green signs before the next planting day in the spring, and costs will be reimbursed by the Village Green, by the village's general fund community beautification budget line. We also reviewed possible tree planting sites for our annual spring planting, and we reviewed and confirmed payment of memorial tree planted in Richard Abraham's Memorial Park during our fall planting session. A dedication of the tree by family members, village officials, and Village Green volunteers will occur during the 2022 spring planting day and Arbor Day celebrations. The Village Green 2021 application for the designation of Tree City USA has been submitted. This will be the village's 20th year of receiving this designation. We'd like to thank David Pearson for preparing the application.
Brent, before you move on, can you just clarify if someone is interested in considering a memorial tree, what the process for that is?
If someone is considering a memorial tree, we already had people come forward for the spring. We'll require a $200 payment for the tree. The family or person purchasing the tree for a memorial would be required to purchase their own sign. Then please consult with the Village Green Committee on selection of trees. Sometimes if they're under wires, we like to get a smaller species, doesn't interfere with the power lines, make sure we have enough sunlight for those trees, and it doesn't interfere with other things. We're looking at, possible places throughout the village, but we'll help you try to locate a site as well. So you can contact the village clerk's office, David Pearson, or myself, and we'll be happy to walk you through the process.
Thank you.
The Village of Red Hook Highway Department monthly report for December. The village's snow ordinance is currently in effect as of November 1st, 2021 to March 31st of 2022. No parking is permitted on village streets from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and on New York State highways from 2 a.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. during the same period. When snow and or ice removal operations are underway, any vehicle parked or abandoned on any street may be removed by or under the direction of the Red Hook Police Department or any responding law enforcement agency. Costs associated with vehicle towing and storage will be charged to the vehicle's owners. The owner and or occupant of every building or lot in the village with an adjoining sidewalk shall remove snow and ice within a 24-hour period of a snowstorm. At the direction of the village board of trustees, the village highway department may remove snow and ice uncleared at a cost of $2 per linear foot. This cost will be assessed and collected with the next tax levy. The highway department requests that property owners remove street side athletic equipment, also garbage cans, to prevent damage during snow removal or plowing operations. The Old Dutch Village Garden Club has requested that a trash receptacle be placed near the club's garden at the north end of Memorial Park. Hopefully, highway department will.
It has been installed.
It has been.
Yes, I actually have a picture.
Very good. Revenue was generated from the sale of scrap metal on December 12th in the amount of $513.60, and on December 29th, we received $929.55. Total revenue generated from the sale of scrap metal in fiscal year 2021-2022 is $4,887.95. Since inception of the scrap metal recycling program in September of 2007, $41,180.26 has been generated. And proceeds from this program go toward the purchase of tools and equipment for the village highway, water, and materials management departments. Residents and businesses interested in donating scrap metal may contact the village highway department, and their number is 845-758-8600, or the village clerk's office. And highway department personnel will assist property owners by picking up scrap metal upon request. We've been very good with the sale of scrap metal this year. We anticipate usually about $2,000 annually, and we're almost $3,000 ahead of schedule on that one. On the Red Hook Infrastructure Intermunicipal Task Force monthly report, the Red Hook Sewer Project, the groundbreaking ceremony was held in the Red Hook Village Municipal Parking Lot on December 23rd to mark the ceremonial beginning of the construction of the Red Hook Sewer Project. We had a lot of people attending, including Brian Murphy, who's the acting New York State Director of USDA Rural Development out of Syracuse, Mike Hale, the Executive Vice President of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, Dutchess County Executive Marcus Molinaro, and our county legislator, Christopher Munn. There are people from Historic Red Hook, some of the businesses, Car Construction, Delaware Engineering, CT Mail, Historic Red Hook, our police department, highway department, treasurer, clerks. It was well attended and a very full day. The Village of Red Hook Water Distribution System and Maintenance Improvement Project and Asset Inventory of Water Mains, Valves, and Fire Hydrants began on December 15th in the southeast quadrant of the village. Delaware Engineering is also locating all water system assets via GPS. A map of locations, sizes, and photo descriptions are being prepared. This data will be used to better maintain and operate the village water distribution system. A report, the Village of Red Hook Public Water Supply Operation and Maintenance Protocols, has been prepared and presented to the village by Delaware Engineering. The report describes needed repairs and general maintenance procedures for the village wells, treatment plant, and distribution system. A daily, monthly, and quarterly list of operational duties was also prepared. Copies of the report will be distributed to C3MD, which is our operator, and the village cabinet. On the intermunicipal task force side, Charlie Lang and myself are both village representatives and members. There were no task force meetings held during the month of December 2021. The Redwood Town Board approved zoning amendments regulating short-term rentals in the town of Red Hook. These regulations are not applicable to the village of Red Hook and the village of Tivoli. The amendments are posted and can be referenced on the town of Red Hook website. And some of the committees I sit on, the town of Red Hook zoning review committee, there were no meetings. The community preservation fund advisory board, no meetings. But the current balance of the community preservation fund as of December 31st is $2,651,801.01. And just for reference, I did include the balance of April back in April 30th of 2020. And that was $1,384,370.75. So we've almost seen that double since the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, Brent, we gotta start spending that money.
Yeah, we do.
And that money gets added when property sales.
Yeah, it's a 2% transfer tax on the sale of all properties in the town of Redwood, including the villages. So they look at the county median for a single family home, sale price versus the county median. If it's over the difference, 2% of that difference is applied and put to the community preservation fund.
Thank you.
There were no meetings of Northern Dutchess Alliance Executive Committee, nor any meetings of the Southfield Watershed Community. The Town of Red Hook Local Waterfront Revitalization Program Working Group, a meeting was held on December 7th and 17th via Zoom. We reviewed the harbor management plans as precedents and examples for the town of Marlborough, New York. We reviewed possible projects to be included in the Red Hook Town LWRP, gathered from the online survey. Possible projects to be considered that we're considering include bird watching platforms, small ferry or sailing rider, public-private partnerships for the UTS trails, public-private partnerships to repair pedestrian bridge over railroad tracks, a Poets Walk, expand stream monitoring of the Butterkill and Stony Creek, a feasibility study and construction of a community septic system in Berrytown, maintenance chemicals for highway and railroad use, and a public-private partnership to gain access to the river at the site of the Red Hook Boat Club. The Village of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee, both Karen and I are members of that. We had no committee meetings during the month of November. The village board, as we just went through, opened the public hearing and proposed amendments to the official zoning maps and amendments to local law 200 of the Village of Red Hook zoning law on December 6th. The date of the hearing was set by the adoption of Resolution 20, submitted for public notification to the Kingston Daily Freeman. Secret documents part 2 and 3 and the neg deck was prepared by Four Corners Planning. The final draft of the proposed zoning amendments were prepared by Roddenhausen, Shaw, and Molinaro, and the amended Village of Red Hook official zoning map was prepared by Delaware Engineering. The public hearing is open to include the trustees meeting of today, which is January 10th, and will continue on February 14th. Written comments could be submitted for the board's consideration starting on December 6th. The proposed zoning law and zoning map have been available to the general public from December 2021 on the Red Hook Village website. Meetings were held on December 2nd and 10th in the Red Hook Village building to discuss and review part 1 and 2 and the neg deck of the secret EAF. The amendments to the zoning law and zoning map are considered a type 1 action under the seeker because the changes in the zoning affects more than 10 acres. And we reviewed comments by the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, which were presented at tonight's meeting. Actions to review seeker documents, approve neg deck statements, and consider approving the zoning law and zoning amendments may take place on February 14th at the Village of Redwood Board of Trustees meeting. And that is it.
You sure that's all?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, moving on to trustee Lang.
Right, you are. I'm ignoring a house emergency where the dog just apparently vomited all over the upstairs, but somebody will take care of it. So I have the month of December's materials management report. And I'm very pleased to announce that there was no contaminated recycling in last month's recycling. So that's good news. And maybe our reminders about what you can and what you can't put out in the recycling are getting through. So for the month of December, there was 1.06 tons of commingled, 0.53 of cardboard, 0.85 of paper, for a total recycling tonnage of 2.44. And then there were 6.38 tons of garbage. And we sold $1,620 worth of tags. So the total costs were $669.90 for the garbage. And then there's a fuel surcharge of $41.86 for a total cost to the village of $711.76, not accounting for the time and efforts of our employees in picking it all up. So good news on the garbage and recycling front. Then I also have the Village of Red Hook Water Treatment Facilities monthly report. And so during the month of December, the water treatment facility treated 7,248,000 total gallons, which is an average of 233,800 gallons per day. And this, I have a chart here which shows a nice graph. It shows our water usage leveling out just below 250,000 gallons a day, which is, I think, right where we want to see it. So that's also good news. We sent 4 samples out from 4 locations for bacteriological testing, and they all came back clean. So no coliform, no E. coli was detected.
Charlie,
Yes.
before you go on, I actually looked at a year ago number. So this December, we treated 7.2 million total gallons. Last
Right.
December, we treated almost 10 million gallons. So
Wow.
we've made a significant reduction in the total. I think that
Yeah,
has a lot to do with various replacing and fixing of leaky valves.
right.
So
I think
I needed to compare it to something. So I looked back to a year ago.
yes, I should be able to put the 2 graphs on top of each other for this past year and the year before, and that would be, I think, a nice graphic representation of the improvements that we've made to the system, and that it's really helping with efficiencies and reducing waste and loss of water to just to the ground.
It might be interesting too, Charlie, to see where we stand on the amount of water that we actually sell versus how much water we treat.
Yes.
And then make us a good indication of how much, if any, we lose, percentage of that.
Yes.
That's kind of how we determined that we were in dire need of repairing our water distribution system.
Right. Yeah, the difference between the volume of the water that's spilled and the volume that we produce.
Right.
Yes, I will follow up on that, Brent. And just to round out the report, so during the month of December, the water treatment plant used 95 gallons of sodium hypochlorite, and the average daily use was 3.06 gallons per day. So, I mean, that's another benefit of not wasting water, is that the lower the volume, the less sodium hypochlorite we have to use, and that's expensive, and the less the better. And that's it. I know you, Karen, you sent an email out, you know, we're really trying to sort of move on some of the outstanding deficiencies and problems we've identified out there with the water system. So that hopefully that gets followed up on, and we can really make some progress on some of those.
Yes, we actually, we have a meeting coming up later this week with Delaware Engineering and C3ND to begin to address exactly costs and priority and timing. So hopefully
Right.
we'll have something to report on that.
Yeah.
Okay, and now Trustee Kjærgaard.
Okay, Red Hook Together's monthly meeting was held on Thursday afternoon, it's January 6th, 2022. The meeting focused on evaluating last year's format of theme discussions, as well as assessing who was missing from conversations and what outreach efforts can be attempted so that the group further reflects the greater community. New discussion themes were also proposed. Town Economic Development Council. The EDC met December 8th and 15th, as well as January 5th. On January 5th, they reviewed the village's proposed zoning law and decided they have no official comment or objections. The Village of Red Hook Communications Committee. The committee meets every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. We thank our BARD CC interns, Cam Evans and Eve Campbell, for their help during last semester. The mayor's third newsletter went out to email inboxes on Thursday, January 5th, and the third seasonal services updates went out to the water bill customers last week. Anyone interested in learning more about what is happening in our village is encouraged to visit the village's website at redhookvillage.org and to subscribe to the Mayor's Village newsletter. Unfortunately, I do not have a police webpage progress to share, as I, at the time of drafting the report, I'm still waiting for a reply and approval of the unpublished RHPD webpage that I submitted on December 3rd. As a board, we must collectively prioritize and remain committed to the goals set forth in the 2021 police reform plan, drafted by the previous mayor in consultation with trustees, community stakeholders, and the RHPD, and adopted by the board on March 8th, 2021. The fact that RHPD's only online presence continues to be a Facebook page for press releases reflects poorly on our shared transparent communication goals outlined in the village's plan. And I also want to add the update that we have scheduled a meeting and discussed moving forward. So it is being addressed, and we are making progress. So that's positive. The Village of Red Hook Hard Scrabble Events Committee. The Events Committee's monthly public meeting is on the third Monday of every month at 6 p.m. in the Village Hall courtroom. Due to this third Monday falling on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the 2022 brainstorming meeting will be on January 24th at 6 p.m. and it will be a virtual public meeting via Zoom. The link will be posted on the Village website. Village residents and community groups are especially encouraged to attend to help build the 2022 events calendar. No ongoing commitment is required, though enthusiasm and new volunteers are always welcome. If you can't make a meeting, want more information, or to get the Zoom link directly, email committee chair Amy Smith at events@redhooknyvillage.org. Village of Red Hook Human Relations Committee. The Human Relations Committee met on Thursday, January 6th, 2022 at 7 p.m. 2 working groups were formed, one to look at the drafting a translation grant proposal, and the other to assess police reform plan progress in 2021. Also, the committee has partnered with the Human Rights Commission of Dutchess County to distribute Hate Has No Home Here lawn signs, which are available free of charge to the community members. Signs can be picked up at Village Hall during office hours, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Village of Red Hook Public Spaces Initiative Committee. No meetings in December. Also, due to personal time considerations, I'm formally resigning as co-liaison to this committee. So this will be the last report I submit moving forward. And then the Red Hook Public Library report. The Red Hook Public Library is happy to confirm that the library received an agency partner grant for infrastructure from Dutchess County. The $200,000 grant will be used to make repairs to the library's roof. The library has also proposed that they be a site where residents can purchase village garbage tags at no additional cost. They request the village board consider it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As it relates to the garbage tag sale at the library, I think there's some logistics that need to be worked out, but I think that's because the library is open later and on weekends, that may be a nice opportunity for people to participate in the garbage tag program in a way that they're not currently. Okay, that's the committee reports. Now we get on to regular business. And the first one is one I'm particularly excited about. I am recommending for approval to the board the hiring of Jen Kavanaugh as our new village clerk. And I just want to start by saying I am deeply grateful to Laura Hart, who since the retirement of the prior village clerk, Cindy Chiarella, left in the summer of 2020, I believe. Laura has managed 3 jobs. She has not only been the acting village clerk, she is also the building and police clerk. She has done this with incredible grace and efficiency, and she will have plenty to do with her remaining 2 jobs. Jan is highly qualified, brings a solid set of skills and experience to help the village in general, and me in particular, to organize our documents and general operations going forward. Jen will one of the roles of village clerk is to attend board meetings and take the minutes. She lives in the town, but the board has previously authorized appointed officers to live in the county. I have a resolution that I would like to propose, and I'm going to read it now. Resolution authorizing the appointment of Jennifer Kavanaugh to position of village clerk. Whereas the Village of Red Hook Board is authorized pursuant to section 3-30 of the New York Village Law to appoint a qualified person to the position of village clerk to fill a vacancy. Whereas section 3-31 of the New York Village Law provides that elected and appointed village officers must be village residents to be eligible to serve in that capacity. And whereas section 3-32A of the New York Village Law provides that the Village Board of Trustees may, by resolution, provide for modification of the residency requirements to allow appointed officers to include residency within the county in which the village is located. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook as follows. 1, Jennifer Kavanaugh is hereby appointed to the position of village clerk for the applicable term as provided by law. 2, pursuant to section 3-32A of the New York Village Law, Jennifer Kavanaugh need not reside in the Village of Red Hook, but may reside anywhere in the County of Dutchess, State of New York. This resolution shall take effect immediately. May I have a motion to pass this resolution?
I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you, Brent. A second?
I'd like to second.
Thank you, Mel Corca. Any questions, comments?
I'd just like to say that I've worked with Jen on several committees in the town, and I feel comfortable with your appointment, and congratulations, and we look forward to working with you in the future, and hopefully a long future we'll have together. And again, congratulations. It'll be fun.
Thank you.
I will add another connection Jen and I have is we are both soccer people. I played soccer in college, and Jen is actively coaching soccer players as we speak, even just this evening. So, an active person in the community. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimously approved. Welcome aboard, Jen.
Look forward to it.
We look forward to having you join our team of folks, just hoping to get by, right? And I just, one more opportunity to say a huge thank you to Lara for holding down the fort and keeping us together. And look forward to having Jen work with us and with you to keep us going forward. All right. The next thing is we've received a request for a new street light on an existing Central Hudson pole at the intersection of Bird and Tower Street. And I'd like to read the letter. Over many years of living in Red Hook, I've noticed an increase in families with children that have moved to our village enjoying the outdoors, including walking, jogging, riding their bicycles, and walking their animals. I've been living on Margaret Street in the village of Red Hook since 1997. I love our little village for many reasons, but my most enjoyable pleasure is taking walks in our development, which includes not only Margaret, but Tower and Bird Streets. Because I work full-time, I do not get to walk until the sun sets. Additionally, because I have a dog, I find myself needing to walk several times after it is dark. Because of my concerns for visual safety, I'm requesting a new Central Hudson light be attached to the existing pole. And there's a pole number 174379, which is at the intersection of Bird and Tower Streets. I will also mention that our highway foreman indicated that he felt it was a location that could use some additional light. And Central Hudson indicated that we as a board need to approve, and there is a fixed annual charge associated with streetlights, and this particular light is $169.90 per year, or $14.16 a month. I'm just looking to see if there were the person from Central Hudson said he took a look at Google. It doesn't look like there'll be an issue installing a light on this particular post.
What was the cost again? I'm sorry.
$169.90 a year. What he said other similar streetlights in the neighborhood are 2,900 lumens LED lights, which is 25 watts. There are other light possibilities, but that sounds like it's not above what they recommend in the town. So it seems like it's not too bright, but it certainly would provide some light in an area that doesn't have any in the evening at this point. Any thoughts, discussion?
I think it's a good idea also it's probably by a stop sign there. And so it would probably aid in the visibility of that sign, or just safer pedestrian and vehicular traffic.
It seemed like also a reasonable cost in light of just adding to pedestrian safety in that area. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that we approve the addition of this referenced streetlight. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brent. Any other questions or comments or concerns? The good news is it's an LED light, so I think that's a positive. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. And I'd like to thank Betty Picciololo for taking the time to make her request and give us an opportunity to rectify a concern she had. So thank you. Okay, the next on the agenda is a shared services plan. This is a shared services contract with the county. It does not require us to actually share services, but it gives us the opportunity to do so should it ever become something that makes sense. So it seemed like a very logical thing for us to participate in because it doesn't obligate us to anything, but it gives us opportunity should we find that there's a good opportunity. May I have a motion to, I guess the motion is to authorize my signature on the shared services contract with the county.
So moved.
Thank you, Brent. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Charlie. Any further comment or question? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm also aye. Okay, that's done. The next is, so we applied for a municipal, it's a MIG grant, and I forget what the I stands for, but it's a municipal grant. And it was for IT upgrades for the police department. And it was really for two reasons. One is the software that the police department computers are running on are old, and adding the, and so at some point soon, Windows isn't going to support the old versions anymore. And so we need to upgrade, but also with the addition of the police body cameras and the uploads, it really made sense. It really was time to upgrade the IT. And we actually did get this grant. And so we are in the process of making that happen. The grant is for $17,881, and it is for replacing computers, upgrading software, and upgrading the servers that we have. And so I just wanted to share with you that that is, that we did get that grant. I think we've talked about that before. I just wanted to mention that we will need to make some budget adjustments to allow for this. I don't have them specifically for tonight. It is a reimbursement grant, so we have to spend and then request reimbursement for it. So the invoice for the first part, which is about 74% of it, was in the packet of vouchers that we went through. But this month, the expense of that is going into the central processing unit IT budget line. If you'd like, I can pull out that number, but that's why that budget line is above budget. And then we'll just need to identify where the incoming funding will come from that covers that cost. So I should have that budget adjustment for the next meeting.
So we didn't use the line of credit for that?
We did not use that line of credit. I feel that while it's easier visually to use the line of credit, I didn't see a reason to incur the interest cost because we have the cash.
It'll be reimbursed.
And it will be reimbursed in full.
It should be before end of May.
I fully expect it will be before the end of May. Though I shouldn't promise anything because you never know, but we actually are putting in a request for reimbursement for the 74% that we've spent so far this month. So I'm not sure how quick their turnaround is, but I'm hoping it's better than, so at the bare minimum, and we will complete the project this month. So we should have all of our requests for reimbursement in by next month. So that gives you several months. So that was really just to let you know that's what's happening. The next is there is a CIT and BEAT contract with the county, and I'm afraid I don't have that in front of me. So it is a contract for training for the police department. It includes training related to de-escalation and other types of positive police training that the county does provide. And speaking with Sergeant Hildenbrand, he felt it was important to continue our relationship as it relates to this. He said most of our police department have been through this training. I think we have at least one new police officer who has not yet been through the training. So I do need approval to extend this contract with the county. Can I get a motion to authorize my signature on that contract? So moved. Thank you, Melcorca. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Brent. All in favor?
Aye.
Was that an aye, Charlie?
Yes, temporarily muted.
Got it. Thank you. The next item is LoSAP. We did finally get the documentation from the fire company that for the 2020 LoSAP program. LoSAP is a service award program that we support with the fire company. The fire company has had a difficult year this year in terms of their systems, and so we are grateful that they have gotten to a place where they were able to get their numbers to us. We're hoping that 2021 that they're on a roll and we'll get the numbers in a more timely fashion. But I do need to have a formal approval from you all for this service award program that you were provided. May I have a motion to approve the LoSAP Fire Company Service Awards? Please.
So,
Thank you, Brent. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Charlie. Any questions? Discussion?
we don't top of our heads what we did allocate for this program in our budget.
We allocated more than this.
All right.
Um,
It is said it's went significantly higher.
I think we knew that. I think that might have, I think we knew that was coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can check.
hang on, I got it. Just a minute. You know budget better than I do. There you go.
We'll check it.
No, I'm sorry.
We'll check. Cheers.
Yeah, as I say, I think it's I think we could have known in advance only because there were more participants receiving the service credit. In any case, all in favor?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye from me too. Thank you very much. We'll confirm the budget numbers. Okay, the next piece of business, several pieces of business from the past that we are checking off tonight. You all had a chance, or you were given the audit of the village justice courts for the year ending December 30, 2020. This was done by Lori E. Dottie, certified public accountant, and her findings are that they were all deposits were all made in a timely manner. Reports were filed appropriately. Hang on. All checks agree to the monthly reports. They were drawn on the proper bank account. There was only one deposit for Justice Courtier, which was subsequently transferred to the village to the Rhinebeck Court. Noted that the justice's bank account and all pre-number checks issued were reconciled monthly. Total bail agreed to ledger. I do need you all. Part of the process is for you all to review that and to approve it at a meeting, which is what we are here to do. So I need a motion to accept the audit of the 2020 Village Justice Courts.
So moved.
Thank you, Brent. A second? Second. Thank you, Mel Korka. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. All right. I have on the agenda the LED streetlight project. Charlie and I met 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. We need to reschedule that next meeting. We are getting closer. I've also spoken with Robert McKeon, and he's very keen on helping us. The key piece at this point is to confirm the financing for the money that's required to buy out the streetlights. And once we secure what that financing is, the numbers are clearly in the village's favor to buy this out. There's significant savings to doing that. But there's maintenance agreements, the buyout agreement, and the financing that all need to be buttoned down before we can present that to you all to have a buttoned up program to say yes or no to. So
Right. I thought it was, yes, we are hopefully getting very close. I thought it was nice that earlier tonight we had that estimate for the cost of adding another streetlight to the system in the village. And so you multiply the $170 cost for that one streetlight by our collection of 270 or so streetlights, and you quickly get to over $45,000 a year, which is basically just a rental fee to Central Hudson. So yes, pursuing the streetlight conversion project is in the long term going to save the village a good amount of money.
Yes, so stay tuned. The next is Salisbury Bank authorization. Currently, the only authorized person on the Salisbury Bank account is Ed Lundell, and Salisbury Bank requires the village board to authorize someone different. They didn't have any particular language, but I would like to propose that you authorize me to be to replace Ed as the authorized person on the Salisbury Bank account. This is the bank that we use for our line of credit, which we frequently will use for when we make a purchase with grant money that we're going to be reimbursed for, or bonds or things like that. So for example, we purchased our police car with a bond from Salisbury Bank as well. And I think our snow plow and our backhoe as well. May I have a motion to authorize me to be the Salisbury Bank representative?
So moved.
Thank you, Mel Corcoran. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Charlie. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Hearing none, all in favor?
Right.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Next is the Red Hook Public Library. They have had an unexpected departure of trustee Cecilia Cortina, and I received a letter from President Don O'Shea recommending that appointment be filled by Sarah De Vere. I knew Van der Veer in my childhood. Sarah has already attended several board meetings and contributed valuable insight, time, and effort to the library. She would bring 4.5 years of community engagement experience to the board. She has been working with DeBard College Center for Civic Engagement since her graduation. She's interested in helping with fundraising and increasing library use by more patrons in their 20s. In addition, Sarah has already demonstrated her skill with technology and will lend that expertise to the board. I'll just add that if anyone says they're interested in helping with fundraising, you hold on to them and grab them, because that's not everyone. So I would like to propose that we accept the nomination of Sarah De Vere to the Red Hook Library Board.
So
Thank you, Brent. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mel Corca. Any questions, discussion?
she's a good person. She's helped actually plant trees, and she's been on Red Hook together for a while, and then through her use and involvement with the Center for Civic Engagement, she's shown her commitment to the village and to the town of Red Hook, and I think she'd be a wonderful addition to the board of the library.
Great. Any other comments, thoughts, questions?
I second that. She's really lovely and I'm excited to see what she'll do
Terrific.
in the role.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. All right. I do have another thing that is not on the agenda. Mackey, Butts and Wise has been our legal counsel for labor. David Wise has been the village's labor counsel for I don't know how many years. He retired this fall, and they've hired a new partner, and her name is Brooke Youngworth. And I have spoken with her. She is a graduate of University of Miami, where she earned her Bachelor of Science in Communication and Public Relations and Creative Writing. And she was also a magna cum laude graduate from the State University of New York at Buffalo Law School, where she earned her Juris Doctorate degree. And she is a partner at Mackey, Butts and Wise. She's been engaged in the community. She was Vassar College's mock trial coach from 2016 to 2019. She was recently appointed as a member of the Resource Development Committee for the Dutchess County SPCA and of the Dutchess County Bar Association's Continuing Legal Education Committee. She's also served as a member of the board for the Mid-Hudson Civic Center and the Saratoga Hospital Foundation's Gala Committee. Mackey, Butts and Wise has just requested that we renew our engagement with them and their services. And I have not passed this around to you because I got it this afternoon, but it is a very simple letter of engagement, which we can terminate at any time. But the services, they would bill at an hourly rate of $190 for an attorney and $110 for a paralegal. And it is covering all manner of labor and employment legal services. And there's really nothing else in this letter of engagement. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and ask for approval for my signature on this letter of engagement. May I have a motion? Thank you, Brent. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Charlie. Any questions or concerns? I'll just say it's been wonderful to work with David Wise. I actually knew him personally before I had the opportunity to work with him for a short time here in the village. So sorry to see him go, but I think Brooke will be a great addition and someone who will be good to work with. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Let's see. I wanted to let you know that Assemblymember Kevin Cahill indicated that he was looking to secure grant funding for Red Hook Response in the amount of about $50,000. But because Red Hook Response is not a nonprofit, it needed to go through an organization, and I had said to Assemblymember Cahill that if he made that work, that we would be happy to facilitate that. So that I believe is now coming to fruition. So there will be some funding to pass through the village, and it's literally just a pass through. But as it gets closer to happening, I'll keep you up to date. And then there's another thing related to a purchase of equipment. Highway Foreman Jake Smith has indicated that Frank Vosberg is selling a used sander, which is a 2.5 yard Fisher Polycaster. It is about 5 years old. It has a brand new truck side wiring harness, a brand new controller, all new bearings throughout, and it hasn't been used since it was serviced, and he knows all those details because he's the one who serviced it. It is Vosberg is going to put it up for auction unless we say we would like to buy it. Jake believes that he can get it for $2,500. A new one, hang on, I wrote it down somewhere. There it is. We checked with the dealer, and a new one would cost about $8,500. Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere. But the other is, what I would like to propose is that we authorize Jake to purchase this sander not to exceed $3,000. And I'm going to propose that we use scrap metal funding for it. We have taken in $4,887.95 in scrap metal income. We have used so far $1,400 in scrap tools, which is and so that leaves us with $3,487 of that scrap metal income available. And so I think this is the perfect, that scrap metal was meant to be used for equipment. We have 3 trucks and 2 sanders. Is it urgent that we need this? Probably not, but it certainly makes us much more efficient. And with this past weekend, with the sanding and salting that has been needed quite a bit, it seems like a logical addition to at a very reasonable cost to add to the equipment of the village. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the purchase of the sander.
So moved.
Thank you, Brent. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mel Korka. Any questions?
We just got another check for purchase of scrap metal, so we'll be adding to that amount.
All right.
The dream lives on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now we get to the other fun part, which is the resolutions for special elections. All right, resolution number 1 of 2022. Here's the resolution. Resolution for March 15, 2022, village special elections. Whereas per election law, section 15-1041B and section 15-1043B, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook will hold a special village election on Tuesday, March 15, 2022, with the polling location being at the Village Hall, 7467 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York, between the hours of 12 noon and 9 p.m. Whereas on November 11, 2021, the village election was published by a legal notice in the local newspaper advising of 1 mayor position to fill an unexpired term, 1 trustee position to fill an unexpired term. And whereas per election law, section 15-16(1), the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook is authorized to appoint 2 election inspectors for village elections, and hereby appoints the following persons as election inspectors for the village for the March 15, village election, Ellen Treebwasser and Jennifer Van Voorhees. Whereas per election law, section 15-116, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook is authorized to appoint an alternate election inspector, and hereby appoints the following person as alternate election inspector, Beverly Van Voorhees. Whereas as per election law, section 15, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook is authorized to give a compensation to election inspectors, and hereby agrees to compensate at the rate of $15 per hour to each election inspector for hours worked during the village election. And whereas, as per election law, section 15, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook hereby appoints Jennifer Kavanaugh, village clerk, as the person to read the results of the village election. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook hereby approves said resolution number 1-2022. I'm making that motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brent. Any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have a second resolution, which fortunately isn't as long. Whereas, as per election law, section 15-1041B and section 15-1043B, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook will hold a special village election on Tuesday, March 15, with the polling location being at Village Hall, 7467 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York, between the hours of 12 and 9 p.m. Whereas on November 11, 2021, the village election was published by a legal notice in the local newspaper advising of one mayor position, 1-year term to fill an unexpired term, and one trustee position, 1-year term to fill an unexpired term. And whereas per election law section 15-118.4, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook is required to notify that the Village of Red Hook utilizes the registered voters list from the County of Dutchess Board of Elections and does not hold a separate registration day. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook hereby approves said resolution number 2-2022. I make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brent. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you very much. All right, we did that, we did that, we did that. Okay, I think I have everything checked off on my list. Does anybody have any further business to discuss? Was that a, were you raising your hand? No, I'm looking at you. You went like that.
Oh, it's a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I got it, got it. Okay, so I'm not hearing any new general business. Any public comment? We got one, no, we're seeing no public comment. We do not have a need for executive session. So I will now take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We have to pay bills.
Oh, yes, sorry, I do that every time. Sorry, so I need a motion to pay the bills after audit.
So moved.
Thank you, Brent. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I will mention that the next workshop meeting date is January 20th. That's a Thursday. At this point, it will be in the village courtroom. We're not currently set up to do hybrid for that meeting. If that changes, we'll put that information on the website. And then the next village board meeting is Monday, February 14th, and that will be a hybrid meeting. And so a new Zoom link will go out at that time. I will actually take a moment just to acknowledge, Brent mentioned that we had a ceremonial groundbreaking for the sewer project. And we did manage to get a nice picture, a little article in the Mid-Hudson News. And then we also had a very nice article in the Northern Dutchess News. Curtis Schmidt actually spent some time with Brent. I was in the room. I would say Brent is the historian on this project, and he actually captured in a nice article a fair bit of the history of this project. And we're certainly looking forward to a wonderful article in the Daily Freeman as well. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make the motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, I'm accepting a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
Okay.
I'm accepting that motion from you. Thank you. And a second. No second to adjourn the meeting?
Well, sorry, I
Did I-
thought that Charlie had already done it before.
Well, you can arm wrestle over to who we put in the minutes as to who seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a good night, everybody. Stay warm and stay safe.